Good evening and welcome to the August 9th, 2022 Development Review Commission hearing. The Development Review Commission is created to hold public meetings and hearings to provide analysis and recommendations to the City Council regarding general land use policies and applications where the Commission has recommendatory power, and to render final decisions on specified applications where the Commission has final decision-making power, including but not limited to all aspects of a proposed and future development. The Development Review Commission recognizes that the creation of a desirable environment throughout the city for residents, businesses, and industry is a prime requisite for the interdependence of land values, aesthetics, and good site planning. By promoting harmonious, safe, attractive, and compatible development that is therefore considered to be in the best interests of public health, safety, and general welfare. Any person aggrieved by a final decision of the Development Review Commission may file an appeal to the City Council within 14 calendar days after the Development Review Commission has rendered its decision. Development Review Commission recommendations to the City Council are not final decisions. With us this evening, representing the Commission are Commissioners Michelle Schwartz, Don Casano, Linda Spears, and Joe Forte. Also with us is alternate Commissioner Charles Redmond. To my right, Vice Chair Andrew Johnson, and I'm Chairman Mike DiDomenico. With us from staff today, we have Jeff Tamulevich, Ryan Levesque, Steve Abrahamson, Saparna Dasgupta, Karen Stovall, Lily Drosas, Joanna Berry, and from media, Jason Wolf. For any members of the public, we will make sure to, if you're here to speak or to be heard on one of the matters, we will reach out to you. We would ask that when you approach the podium, if you're going to speak, that you simply state your name clearly for the record and your city of residence. Also, there would be a comment or a card that we would have you fill out your personal information, and you can find those either in the back of the room or up here sitting next to Joanna. She can help you through that. Our agenda today is fairly simple. We're first going to vote on a set of 2 minutes. Those are from our July 26, 2022 study session and regular meeting. We had 2 edits to those sets of minutes that we dealt with during the study session and read into the record. Those, when we vote on them, we'll be voting on those sets of minutes with the amendments. In addition to the sets of minutes, we have a consent agenda. Our consent agenda tonight consists of only item number 3, which is the secondhand, a use permit for a secondhand store, subjective vintage. It's our intention when we vote on the consent agenda to simply vote in favor of approval of that case. Is anyone here from the public here to be heard on that matter? Okay, seeing none, we'll leave that on our consent agenda and vote for that item as a part of the consent agenda. We will be hearing item number 4, which is the Abdelmalik residence. This is a use permit to allow a second-story addition. So if you're here to be heard on that matter, you will get a chance, and we'll call to the public to have you come up and speak on that. With all of that being said, I would entertain a motion for approval of the 2 sets of minutes for July 26th.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Casano.
I would make a motion for approval of the Development Review Commission study session minutes of July 26, 2022, and the Commission's regular meeting minutes of July 26, 2022.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Casano and seconded by Commissioner Spears.
With the amendments, right?
With the amendments.
Yes, with the amendments that were mentioned in the study session.
That's agreed to by both commissioners. We'll call for the question. All those in favor, raise your hand. And we have 1 abstention, alternate Commissioner Redmond. The motion is passed 6-0. That brings us to our consent agenda. I'd entertain a motion. Vice Chair,
Okay.
you're on.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Do we have a second? All right. Let the record show that we have Vice Chair has moved and Commissioner Forte has seconded approval of the consent agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. That brings us to our final case of the evening, and that is item number 4. And that is the use permit to allow a second-story addition for an existing single-family residence. Any members of the public here to be heard on that matter? Is the applicant here?
Chairman, the applicant was going to be online, is online.
Online?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't realize online today was an option. And I'm going to see if we can bring that up on my screen. All right. Applicant, if you're, oh,
Yes, applicant, Chairman, somebody is here.
come on up to the front. See, this is so much better than having you on Zoom or WebEx, so.
I have my engineer, he's in Zoom. I'm a little English, and I have my friend, he's coming helping me just for translate.
Okay, that's fine. Just, if you could just start by just name and city of residence, just to get on the record.
My name is Abdul Malak.
And city of residence, Tempe?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
I'm looking online. Do we have, is architect or engineer is also available? Okay. All right, go ahead and give us your presentation, and then we'll follow up with city staff. Will also come in and give their presentation after.
And Chairman, the applicant, engineer for this project will be using our staff presentation for their. No, they won't. Oh, okay. That was the previous one? I'm sorry. Today's my turn to be confused. So.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Yes, my name's Ed Galindo. Can you see me?
We have, well, we're switching here.
I also understood that you were
Can't see you,
going
but
to
we
use
can hear you.
the presentation I had sent in.
We do have that. That is available, and we can put that up on the board right now for you.
Okay, so if you can hear me, you can see that presentation. That'd probably be the best way to do this.
All right.
I can't, oh, there we go. I can see it.
Yeah, you're going to see a little bit of a delay, probably, what you're looking at.
Okay. We are here to request a use permit for the second level on a single family residence that we'd like to expand for the use of an extended family. How do I switch these or advance? There we go. The location is on East Weber Street Drive, East Weber Drive, which is just east of Scottsdale Road, south of McKellips and north of Curry, just to orient you. And if you can advance the slide, I've got some context that I'm sure you'll recognize as you go north on Scottsdale Road. Just as you come to East Weber, there's a Del Taco on the corner, and you can see a Hampton Inn up to the north east side. So at that intersection, you would turn right on East Weber, and that image is on the top right corner. Then you would proceed east on East Weber, which is the bottom image. Again, you still see the Hampton Inn on the left. If you can advance the slide, please. That is just further in, and you come to the residence, which is on the right, just past the residence that has those vans in the driveway. That's the next door neighbor. So you can go to slide 6. This is the Abdelmalek residence that, as it is now, that we would like to add this second story. You can advance the slide. This is what you see, just more context, as you looked out from the front door. So you do see a 4-level Hampton Inn that is, immediately behind the residence that's across the street. Also, with the width of East Weber Drive, it's not, let's say, a traditional neighborhood. It's not like you're gonna have a block party on that street. So it's a little bit different than other neighborhoods in Tempe, and that's where we're, hoping that you'll be able to grant that request because it is somewhat different. And you can advance the slide. These are the plans. The one on the left is the I'm calling it a pre-renovation site plan, and the reason for that is that if you noticed on the image of the existing home that Mr. Abdelmalek did enclose the carport into a garage, but we are going to open that up. So what you see on the left is the house as it was originally built. And I've got an image of that in the presentation. And then the image on the right is the site plan with the addition and the items that are built other than the opening of the garage shown on that site plan. And so you can advance the slide. This is the residence in April of 2013. So you can see that it did have the garage open and there's adequate space for parking of 2 vehicles in that carport within the setbacks. And if you advance the slide, this is what the residence looks like now. And so it has, he enclosed the carport, but that will be opened as a part of the expansion to provide the required parking on the property. He did add a porch to that and expanded the bedrooms on the right side. And if you advance the slide, I'll be able to show that. Those are 3 things that part of the, if we get the use permit, we'll be submitting for a building permit. And in that building permit, we'll include these items to, as I put here, to legitimize the previously built non-permitted construction. Item 1 is the porch that was added. Item 2, they expanded the bedrooms approximately 4 feet because they're very small bedrooms. And item 3 was the enclosed carport, but we're going to open that back up to provide for the parking. So if you advance the slide. This would be the floor plan of the proposed addition, so that on the left you can see that it will be an open carport again rather than the enclosed garage. The items on the upper left are essentially the way the home exists now. You come in off the front yard through the living room. Although what's different where I've got shown is the laundry that's immediately adjacent to the living room right now is the kitchen. So that would be changed to a laundry because there will be, with the extended family, be quite a few people living here. And then the expansion is to the rear of the house, existing house. And then on the right is the second level, which is 4 bedrooms and a lounge TV area that would be separating the bedrooms. We would also have a couple of bathrooms on the upper floor. You can advance the slide, please. This is the section, and I included this because one of the things that we're doing to try to mitigate the appearance of the second level, on the left side, you can see the porch as it exists now. This is sort of a section view of it. But rather than the pitched roof that comes back down on the rear of the at the peak, which was roughly where I've got the 4 and 12 to indicate the pitch of the roof, that we would extend the roof at the same angle towards the rear of the house rather than coming back down, like a standard pitch roof, to extend further up. And you'll see this in some of the mass models that I've got that would show to extend it up, give the appearance of a pitched roof, even though it's a single slope roof at that point, and then would mitigate the apparent height of the second level. You can change the slide. On the upper right is the north elevation, which is the street elevation, so that you can see on the, and I've got another image of the existing home. The porch right now gets very close to the peak of the roof. So you could see that now with the extension, it's appears to be much lower, but that's because as I mentioned, the slope of the roof continues upward to try to make that appear as the lower height of the second level. So these are the other elevations. You can see this both side elevations, and the rear elevation is the south elevation. Now, I should point out one thing on both the east and the west elevation on the second level. Another thing to provide privacy to the neighbors on the windows that would be on the east and west elevation would be at clear story height, so that we could maintain natural light into the bedrooms, but you won't be able to look out those windows to provide privacy for the neighbors. And you can advance the slide. This is the existing view from the northwest as you drive in. If you turn right at the Del Taco, and you come down and see the home there. And if you advance the slide, you'll see the mass model of the second level to the rear. So you can see how the sloped roof was extended upward to minimize the height appearance when you're directly in front of the home. You can advance the slide. This is approximately the same view from the opposite direction. You can see the Del Taco in the far behind the view, and so that's the home as it is now. And so you can see how the porch approximates the high point of the roof as it is now. And if you advance it, you can see how that changes, so that now it would be more of an extended roof to give that appearance. Now, both of these are just mass models, so they're not intended to be to provide an actual representation, but just more so the massing. If you advance the slide, I tried to do that on the north elevation, street elevation. This is the way it is now, and if you advance the slide, you'll see what approximately what it would look like with the second level. So that the porch remains, but you can see the carport is opened and it goes through to the backyard as it was in the beginning. And then the second level, then, it appears, we try to visually minimize that by extending that roof up. So you can advance the slide. And just a summary that with the expansion, we're still within the allowable area. There's a 45% allowable site coverage. We're only doing 34%. The overall height of the building with the second level is 26 feet. We're within the maximum allowable is 30 feet. If in that zone, but the second level is currently not allowed for a single family residence, but that is a request And as I noted, the second level windows are a clear story height to provide privacy for the neighbors. So with that, just want to thank you. And essentially, that's, the basis of our request. If you have any questions, I could certainly try to answer.
Mr. Galindo, thank you for walking us through that, explaining it. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant at this point? All right, we don't have any questions at the moment, but sit tight and some may come up. Thank you. At this point in time, we're going to have staff will make a presentation, and applicant, you'll have a chance to respond to anything there. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on this matter? Just making that call out again. Okay, have you filled out a card yet? Let's make sure to do that.
Good
Thank you,
evening,
Karen.
Chair and Commissioners. My name is Karen Stovall, Senior Planner. The site is located on the south side of Weber Drive, east of Scottsdale Road, and is within the R2 zoning district. The applicant is requesting a use permit for a second-story addition to an existing single-family residence. And as noted in the staff report, there are several other multi-story developments in the vicinity of the site, including a hotel on the east side of Scottsdale and apartments east of that hotel. And there are also some single-family residences south of Weber that are going to be, or that are two-story as well. The building addition will be similar in design to the existing residence, stucco, and windows on the west and east elevations on the second floor were designed as clear story to retain privacy for the adjacent properties. Those 4 bedrooms on the second story, though, do have full height windows on the north and south elevation, so it's clear story on the east and west. The use permit would allow a 1,280 square foot addition, which would include 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a living area on the second floor. The applicant also intends to remodel and expand the area of the first floor as he described in his presentation. So the use permit factors for consideration, the first one is, would there be a significant increase in vehicular or pedestrian traffic? The applicant states that the use will remain a single-family residence and is not expected to generate an increase in traffic. The site does have the required 2 vehicle parking spaces out of the front yard setback, which is required by code. The second is whether or not a nuisance would arise from the emission of odor, dust, gas, noise, vibration, smoke, heat, or glare, and that is not expected of the second-story addition. The third factor would be if the use would contribute to the deterioration of the neighborhood or downgrading of property values. This project should not deteriorate the neighborhood and is compliant with the existing general plan land use designation. The fourth one is whether or not the structure is compatible with existing structures and uses. So as far as the use, yes, it will be maintained as a single-family land use. Noted earlier, though, the property is zoned R2, so the R2 district does allow multifamily land uses, does allow multi-story developments. So the reason that this use is before you is because it's a single-family land use, and if they want to add a second story, they need the use permit for it. The last one is if there's going to be adequate control of disruptive behavior. We do not believe that adding the second level to the home is going to lead to disruptive behavior on the property. A neighborhood meeting was not required for this application, and we did not receive any public input. Staff is recommending approval of the requests, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners. Commissioner Schwartz.
Yeah, in the applicant's letter, they noted that there was some concerns in the original preliminary site plan. Do you feel those were adequately addressed in this new plan?
Yeah, so originally the plans came in with the second story. It had 4 bedrooms, and each of those bedrooms each had their own bathrooms. And our concern was the true intended use of the property. Once that information was relayed to the applicant, he considered our concerns, not even thinking that the city tends to have concerns about single-family homes being used for many different individuals, more multifamily use. The applicant hadn't even considered that. So he did change it so that users of those upstairs bedrooms would be sharing a bathroom. He also discussed with us the windows on the second level, and that's why the east and west windows were changed from regular height to clear story. So in doing that, we do think that the concerns were addressed, yes.
Thank you. I had one additional question. Last session, we approved some changes to the parking ratio for single-family residents based on number of bedrooms. That would put this case into, I believe, 3 parking spaces required. Can you address that?
So that text amendment has not yet gone into effect. So once it's approved by council and goes into effect, then any use permit applications that come forward from that point would have to provide additional spaces.
Thank you.
Commissioner Spears.
I also have a concern with the parking issue, and I understand the current facts. But in looking at this long-term, if we approve this today as is, and then the house is sold or whatever, we're looking at 8 bedrooms and 2 parking spaces. That gives me a bit of concern on how we would deal with that.
So Chairman and Commissioner, while there are only 2 spaces out of the front yard setback, which is required by code, there could be additional parking in the concrete drive leading up to the carport. So there is additional room on the property for parking. They just wouldn't be out of the required front yard setback.
You're referring to the driveway that's on the west side of the building also?
No, so directly north of the open carport spaces.
Okay.
So, typically a newer single-family home would have a 2-car garage with the driveway leading up to the carport, and guests could park in the driveway that leads to the carport. That would be a similar situation for this.
Commissioners, other questions? Thank you very much. At this point, I'd call the applicant back. Do you want to respond to anything you've heard at this point?
No, other than just to reiterate on the parking that, and that's that was the reason we did open the carport back up, is to provide the required parking within the setbacks. As was mentioned, there is room to park another car or vehicle on the property within the boundaries of the property, but unfortunately, it would extend into the setback. There's a required setback, from the property lines, and so the tail end of a vehicle would be on the property, but it would extend past that setback line.
Thank you. All right, at this point, I'm going to call to the public for public comments. I believe I don't have the card, so I can't call you by name, but come on up and state your name and city of residence.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Albert Dare, D-A-R-E. In fact, I have been a resident or near resident for Tempe for 81 years. Starting out at Conception out on Baseline, when that was way out in the country, okay? So I say if you believe in birth starts at conception, I've been here a long time. Okay, that's where my parents lived, okay? Just so you know. And I want to thank the board tonight for coming out, serving. I see former city council persons are still hanging in there, okay? My congratulations to you. the staff members, the board, I will tell you that Mr. Abrahamson stopped just momentarily ago to let me know that your raise will be in the mail. Okay? And he's a good man. And the staff, thank you. But anyway, I'm very pleased with this particular, by the way, I have lived in the North Tempe neighborhood for over 50 years and have fought to improve it through streets, lights, everything. Okay, so it's very dear to me. I wish to speak on behalf of this project, especially since I've seen the drawings this evening. Now, what they don't bring out in the presentation, because it doesn't apply to this one, but 3 doors down to the west, the city sold a piece of property that we purchased years ago to a developer, and that's going to be two-story apartments, all square. And right now, we've had investors building, I think it's 4 or 5, and they're square, 2-story, 8-bed apartments. And guess who rents them? Okay, it's true. All right. But God bless them. We love them. But anyway, I love this floor plan. If you notice how pretty it is with the single story in the front and then the double story in the back, much preferred to the double story all the way like a cracker box. Okay? And I will tell you that I don't know these people. Okay? Unfortunately, it's the city of Tempe, you know it is. But if you notice improvements there that look very familiar to modern day things that are being done, the little grass spot and all those things, they've been working on this property for quite a few years. I commend them for wanting to take it to another step in improving our neighborhood, and I would ask for your consideration. Thank you. And thank you to the staff, too, for working hard. Okay?
Mr. Dare, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Any
I can
questions?
remember him when, excuse me, sir. I remember when he first came to town on a manufacturing plant out on McClintock. Is that correct?
No, actually, Ace Hardware Store.
Ace Hardware Store. Well, good man. Good man. Thank you all very much.
There we go.
Look
Thank
for
you.
look for the check.
Commissioners, any questions? I don't see any. All right, I will call once again to the public. Do we have anybody else who wishes to be heard? Don't see anybody, no cards. All right, we will close the public comments portion of the hearing. Commissioners, do we have any other questions for either the applicant or staff? I would entertain a motion. I'll ask the applicant, are you comfortable with and are you agreeable to the conditions of approval that were listed in the staff report?
Yes, they have to do with the building permit, and it will be, if the use permit is approved, we'll immediately begin developing the construction documents to submit for building permit.
Okay, thank you. All right, commissioners. Yes?
I move to approve.
All right. Let the record show that that Commissioner Redmond has made a motion to approve with the conditions of approval as drafted in the staff report. Do we have a second?
Motion to second.
All right, and Commissioner Forte has seconded the motion. Any discussion amongst the commission? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Let the record show that the motion passes 6-0 with Commissioner Schwartz voting nay. 6-1.
6-1.
Thank you very much, everyone. Mr. Dare, for coming in and sharing your comments. Staff, do we have anything else?
Chairman, just for the public, if anybody is attending right now, we do have a Development Review Commission meeting for August 23rd. And on the agenda is going to be a preliminary plat for Carvana at 1275 West Rio Salado Parkway. A request for general plan amendment, zoning map amendment, as well as a planned area development and development plan review for 207 dwelling units for a mixed-use development called the Do It at North Miller Road on 907 North Miller Road. A zoning map amendment from R2H multifamily residential district with an historic overlay property designation and a removal of a portion of historic overlay property designation to the rear lot for Butler Gray House property located at 1220 South Mill Avenue. And then we have a request for planned area development and development plan review for a new two-story single-family development consisting of 11 dwelling units called Tempe 11 at 408 South Roosevelt.
Thank you very much. Our meeting is adjourned.